So we're going to continue going through the questions of this 2018 maths paper. But before we move on to question 3, I just wanted to make a note on question 2. So I made a slight slip of the tongue here because I think I mentioned that when we're determining the nature of stationary points, when d squared y over dx squared equals 0, it's not a maximum or minimum point. Now that could be true, but it could also not be true. It could, in fact, be a maximum or minimum point. It's just that when d squared y over dx squared equals 0, we cannot definitively know the nature of this stationary point. Hence why we will then have to look at points around this stationary point to see how the slope of the curve is changing so that we can determine if it's a maximum point, a minimum point, or a point of inflection. So we have to analyze the slope further. So I'll just make a note of that. So cannot determine the nature of the stationary point when d squared y over dx squared equals 0. So you have to look at the points around it to see how the slope is changing. So what you're doing there is analyzing the gradient of the points around, it's getting a bit difficult to write it there, points around the stationary point. So hopefully that clears that up and we can move on to question 3 now.